Okay, it's recording. All right, hey Dan and Nikki. Dan, you have been admonishing me to tell stories, and you had suggested me telling a story from our trip across the country. Nikki, I think Dan already gave you a very brief summary, which didn't include nearly the number of girl stories that there were, but that's fine. But being up here, we're on top of this, I don't know, what do we call this mountain, Preston?
A plateau? Plateau.
No, let's call it Mount Trojan Horse, because from down below it looks like a Trojan horse. Preston, you got to aim the camera over here, bud. There you go, keep it aimed on me. So I'm going to tell you the story of Mount Penobscot. So we were in Maine, probably, halfway through our journey, Dan, or maybe a little more than halfway. And we stopped at, I don't even know what the park was called, Penobscot State Park, maybe, somewhere in Maine. I thought it was on the coast, wasn't it? Anyway, we decided to go out hiking. We parked and we were gonna go look for a place to.
Tick.
Is it a tick? Oh, just get it off, goofball.
I'm holding the camera.
We wanted to look for a place to hike, so we started off hiking. Preston, you gotta aim the camera over here. We were following the trails, and then we thought, well, let's see if we can get up on top of that little ridge, that little overlook. So up we went. We started climbing, and it was, relatively straight up and down, relatively, but with plenty of handholds. But it was pretty tricky to get up there. So we get about, I don't know, maybe I was a third of the way up, but I got to a spot. You know how it is when you're climbing something, you get to a spot where you really can't go backwards anymore. And Dan was a bit up as well, but he could still go back, and that was the point he chose to tell me, that he was a bit uncomfortable with heights. So so I said, well, why don't you go back down, and I will, I guess I'll try to meet up with you as best I can. Preston, camera's over here, bud. And so I kept climbing up, and he went back down. It was getting on towards the evening, so I thought, well, I guess I'll camp for the night. And that's when I realized that Dan had the tent, and he had all the water. I had the sleeping bags and the food, or at least my sleeping bag and the food. And so I sort of snuggled down to a little crevice of rock so that I wouldn't roll off. But fortunately I had a bayonet. I didn't even have a can opener, so I opened the food. Now, when I say food, we had some dry food, and then we had soup. Unfortunately, we had Campbell's chicken noodle soup, and I don't know if you've ever eaten just chicken noodle soup, but it's really, really salty. But I thought, well, I'm hungry, so at least I'll eat that. So I ate that and drank all the soup juice. Of course, I had no way to heat it up. And now at that point, I'm absolutely dying of thirst. So I wedged myself into the crack, and during the night, all this fog rolls in. It was actually really quite beautiful. So the next day, I get up and I go and I find my way down another route. It's just a kind of a walking path down, and I have no idea where Dan is. I have no idea where he ended up. And I'm walking along this road, this actual park road, and there in the middle of the road, it's like 6:30 in the morning, and there in the middle of the road was a rock about like that, with a piece of notebook paper underneath it. Actually, it was a piece of, like, a little notebook. And on it said, Karoo, I went back to the car, I'll meet you there, Dan. So, what were the odds of me coming across that note, right? So it took me another hour or so to get back to the car, and there's Dan. Now, you have to understand, we're driving a two-seat Toyota Tercel, two-door. I guess it had a back seat, but it was stuffed full of crap, right? And so there's Dan sleeping in the front seat of this Toyota Tercel. And obviously, I think I ended up having a better sleep than him, though he wasn't thirsty like I was. So that's my Mount Penobscot story. And I will tell you more as time allows. And until then, we are, Preston, what are we?
Still dead.
Still dead.